Okay, here it is. It's another daily gym drop. Fired up for this one. Wonder where I am. A little loud here, as you can tell. I'm in Bonney Lake, of all places. Look at this. Look how beautiful Bonney Lake is. Just one car after another, zooming up the hill. Let's go. The guy's got a Santa can there. Yeah, let's go. A lot of action here in Bonney Lake. You know, once you get up to the top of the hill here, it's got one of the best views of Mount Rainier anywhere. But, I mean, you got to deal with all of this to get there. What am I doing in Bonney Lake? Well, my daughter lives here, and I'm here to see my grandkids. I've got 3-year-old granddaughter, Addie, and 6-month-old Carson. So I'm getting ready to go up the hill here and go visit them and hang out with them today and probably tomorrow, and not sure what all else I'm going to be doing while I'm in Seattle, but sun's out, looks like a nice day. And I just wanted to stop at this one place because I drive by it all the time when I go to see my grandkids. And I thought, God, I haven't stopped by here, and I know I want to stop here, and I finally did. You seen this place on the way between Sumner and Bonney Lake? Action Sports Bar and Grill. And then down here on a day that's a little more clear, you can, High Cedars Golf Course is down that way. Really nice, beautiful view of the valley. So let's go inside and see what we got here. I don't know, is it too early to have a beer? I guess when you're retired, it's not. I mean, what the heck? What is it? I'm recording this at 1:45. So I'm finally going to this place. I don't even know where the damn door is. You guys see the door anywhere? Oh, wait, right here maybe. Maybe where it says welcome. Oh, and where it says enter here. That might be it. Let's go out on the deck first, though. How's it going? Thank you again for being a paid subscriber. Look at this bonus content you're getting today from Bonney Lake, Washington. Yeah, this looks like a pretty solid deck here. You know, it's summertime. This would be a good spot to have a beer. Let's see, maybe I can go in here. Find out. Oh yeah, it's open. Okay. Oh yeah, a lot of action here at the Action. They call it the Action Sports Bar and Grill. Look at the action. Look at the action at the Action Sports Bar and Grill. Are you sure this is the Action Sports Bar and Grill?
Yeah.
Are you?
Don't even record me.
I don't see any action. She wasn't amused by that like I was. Got some good screens here though. Isn't that bad? Qualifies as a good dive bar, and who doesn't like a good dive bar? Oh. Couple of pool tables here. Pretty nice. All right, you want any sports headlines or anything? I didn't think so. Did you watch a game last night? It was a hell of a game, wasn't it? Indiana, and that girl probably wants me to leave, so I could just tell she was not into what I was doing at all, and who is really. But no, Indiana last night, it was fun to see them win, and doesn't it give us Cougs some hope? Maybe even some Huskies too. If Indiana can do it, anybody can do it, right? That's what I would think. That's what I was thinking when I came away from that game. And maybe if we win the Pac-12 next year, we can get into a 12-team playoff or 16-team playoff and make some noise. Who knows? Anything's possible if Indiana can win it. And heck of a game. Miami, super effort by them too. They could have won. I mean, they were, 40 yards away from winning 28-27. And so congratulations to the Hoosiers. And you know, I didn't even know. I've been watching Indiana basketball for years. I haven't really watched much in the way of football. I didn't know about that chant thing they do, the Hoosiers, or whatever the hell they do. That was kind of fun, though. So congrats to Mike Gastineau, former KJR host for a long time with Graz and Gas. He and his wife were there in Miami. It was pretty cool that they came out on top and got to see their alma mater win a national championship. The Seahawks, you heard the news about Charbonnet Zach Charbonnet going down with a torn ACL, so tough break for the Seahawks. I still think, though, that they're going to be okay. I really do. I imagine you're thinking the same thing. I know it's a blow, and I know they got a good 1-2 punch with Ken Walker and Charbonnet and how that's parlayed. You know, they've done so well with that combination all season, and especially of late. I think, what is it? They've averaged 173 yards on the ground the last 4 games or something like that. But, I mean, what the heck? Ken Walker, the way he ran against the 49ers. Now, you don't expect 3 touchdowns and 119 yards this week against the Rams, but if he can run for 75, 85 yards, maybe a touchdown or 2. And I'm old school. I go back to the days where there was a starting running back, and your backup hardly ever saw the field, hardly ever got any carries. And back then in those good old days, you could typically rely on you'd watch your running back, your starter, and he would gain momentum, get more into a rhythm as the game went along. And the more carries he got, it seemed like the more effective he was. And hopefully that'll be the case with Walker. I was hearing, too, that at Michigan State, that was the case with him there. And so we'll see if he gets 20 carries, 25 carries even, average 4 yards a carry, something like that. What did he average this last game, 7 or 8 yards a carry? So I think they're going to be good to go anyway. And this will probably jinx them. Maybe not. I mean, what the hell? As I've said, how can somebody who's retired down in Bend, Oregon, jinx anything? And typically, I'm kind of off base with my thoughts on things. But every once in a while, I hit the target. I mean, sometimes I miss the target, but sometimes I hit the bullseye. And I think I'm going to hit the bullseye on this one. And what I'm getting at is I think the Seahawks are going to win by 10 or more. They're favored by 2.5. And I just look at the two teams. The Rams haven't been playing all that well lately. They were lucky to get by the Bears. Well, the Bears actually were lucky to force overtime against the Rams. I think we know that with Caleb Williams and what he did. That, by the way, that pass, I don't think I've ever seen a better pass by any quarterback at any level, anywhere, anytime in my life. That was sensational. But the Rams just don't look as good to me as they were a month ago. And after that game at Lumen Field, the Seahawks winning 38-37, they just haven't been the same. And I heard Greg Bell talking on KJR this morning about Matt Stafford not being the same. Now, he had an MVP season, but he tailed off a little bit toward the end. And maybe that had something to do with the sprained finger that he injured, against Carolina in the first round of the playoffs. Maybe he's been off a little bit. Maybe it was the weather in Chicago where it was 15 degrees or whatever it was, and he was 20 for 42 in that game. But he certainly hasn't been playing at an MVP level. And yeah, okay, the Seahawks, allowed 457 yards through the air to Matt Stafford. Puka Nacua, 225 receiving yards in that game in Seattle. But the Seahawks were missing 3 guys who got injured in that game. Eamon Warry, Kobe Bryant, and there was one other guy. I forget. I'm just drawing a blank on who it was. But 3 key defenders were out for the second half anyway in that game. They're at full health now. And I heard Greg talking about how Mike McDonald on a Thursday night game probably gave too much for his defense to consider scheme-wise. And maybe that had something to do with them being messed up. And because you watch that Seahawk defense now, and you can't imagine any scenario against anyone where they would give up 581 yards like they did that night to the Rams. So I don't anticipate that happening. The Seahawks are going great guns, and I see them winning by 10 or more. I'm not thinking 20 or more or 30 or more. I'm thinking 10, maybe 11, maybe 13, maybe 14, maybe even 17. But somewhere in that neighborhood. So I'm a dumbass who puts his money where his mouth is. And so I've already bet $40 on the Seahawks, given 2.5, and I think they're going to cover that fairly easily. Now, the national story continues to be Sam Darnold, which I don't think that guy's ever going to get a break. I really don't at this point. He's just not going to get a break. Now, we know that he's thrown 6 interceptions in the 2 games against the Rams. And he only threw 14 all year. So basically half of his interceptions came against the Rams. So what do we expect in this one? A couple interceptions, maybe 1, certainly not 0. And so I was watching Jason Puckett. He always gives me a hard time. I'm with him Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, pucksports.com, his podcast. And he gives me a hard time for watching what he calls these yelling shows. And one of them's Get Up. They're both on ESPN, Get Up. And then the next one is called First Take with Stephen A. Smith. And yeah, you got guys yelling at each other and stuff. Well, I saw the scroll today on the bottom of, they had coming up next on Get Up or First Take, whichever one it was. Sam Darnold. Is he the weakest link on the Seahawks? And I'm thinking, oh, wait a minute, is he? Yeah, maybe. But should it be some big storyline? Like, they talk about Sam Darnold like he's some slappy quarterback that sucks. And he doesn't suck. He led the league in some departments. Remember earlier this year? He was in the MVP discussion. And they talk about him like he's trash. Is he the weakest link? Is he the one who's going to prevent the Seahawks from going to the Super Bowl or winning the Super Bowl? I don't think so. I just don't. I hope if the Seahawks win the Super Bowl that they're going to say, you know what? They won the Super Bowl in part thanks to Sam Darnold and how he played, rather than saying, God, they won in spite of Sam Darnold. Jeez, is he really a franchise quarterback? Leave Sam alone, okay? He's going to be just fine. And this business about, here's what you're hearing too now, and I heard it from Puckett, and I heard it from, I think, Danny Kelly, one of his guests today, that this is the Super Bowl this week. That Sunday in Seattle, the NFC Championship game, is the Super Bowl, because everyone's thinking that the NFC team is better than the AFC team, whether it's going to be the Patriots or the Broncos with Jarrett Stidham, the backup quarterback, in the Super Bowl. And I get it. The NFC is going to be favored. But in 2 weeks, that's the Super Bowl, not this weekend. This is the conference championship game. And I think you got to be a little wary of thinking, okay, if we beat the Rams, then it's a slam dunk to beat the Patriots or the Broncos. Come on. It's not going to be that easy. Puckett's saying, oh, they're going to clobber whoever they're playing. I'm not so sure about that, especially if it's the Patriots. Patriots had the same record the Seahawks had this year. So we'll see. All right. Okay, well, thanks for joining me here at Bonney Lake today. I'm going to go up and hang out with my grandkids. I have a great time just pushing Addie on the swing and reading her books and going to the park and stuff like that. So take care. I'll be back Thursday, unless I'm not. There's a chance. I don't know what I'm going to be doing Thursday. I'll probably still be in Seattle. It's always good to come back. I still like coming home. This is always going to be home. I kind of get a little misty-eyed coming back here, but I mean, Bend is home for me now, and we do love it down there in Central Oregon, but happy to be home, and thank you again for being paid subscribers, and if you went the whole time watching this video, good God, what's the matter with you? But thank you for doing that too, all right? And don't forget this, go Cougs, all right? Take care, you guys. See ya.